Hey gamers, this is Liz Davidson from Beyond Solitaire, and today I'm going to teach you to play a simple and beautiful solo game called Sunset Over Water. Sunset Over Water is a game about becoming a successful painter, and to do that you walk through a beautiful landscape, you pick up the paintings that you're inspired to create, and then you use those paintings to fill commissions which give you prestige. So it's essentially a beat your own score game where you are trying to get the best commissions and the best paintings for you in the game in order to score very well. The main setup of the game is this 5x5 grid of cards. Most of these are painting cards that you're able to pick up and then later replenish off the deck, and I will show you how that happens. However, there are 4 special cards in here as well, which are the ranger stations. Once you feel comfortable with what they are, you can actually just leave them on the non-instructional side. But the good thing about ranger stations is that in the multiplayer game, you replenish all of your landscapes at the end of every turn. In the solo game, you don't. You can only do it by picking certain wake-up times that trigger certain actions, which we'll get to in a second, or by crossing over these ranger stations. So if all of these landscapes have been taken, when I cross over the ranger station, I immediately pull 3 off the deck to replace them. So a lot of the game's movements involve timing yourself correctly so you cross the ranger station at times when it is the most beneficial for you to do so. Where might commissions come from, you ask? They come from the commission deck. So during each round, you need to have 3 commission cards on display. So these are the commissions that I have a chance to work with. And then you also display the one that is on top of the draw deck, but you can't actually get this commission until the following turn. This is basically a card that lets you pre-plan a little bit if none of these commissions are working out well for you. So to claim commissions, you need to match the symbols in the top left corner of your paintings that you've acquired with the symbols that are requested on the commission card. For example, this one wants a painting with a mountain, a sun, and 1 other symbol, as well as a painting with 1 symbol of any kind. So this painting, which has a sun, a mountain, and a whatever symbol, would be able to fulfill part of that commission. And then this one with just the water would be able to fulfill the other. So I could turn these 2 paintings in to get this commission. So it's just a matter of matching symbols. And a lot of what we'll be doing is moving strategically around our board to pick up paintings that we think are going to help us fulfill as many of these as we can. To actually help us move around the board, we're going to need these solo planning cards. Well, they're used in the multiplayer game as well, but for a solo game, you just take 1 color's deck of planning cards. As you'll notice, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards in this deck. That's because there are 8 rounds in a solo game. So once you have run out of planning cards, the game is over and it's time to tally your score. The information on these cards is crucial to your gameplay. So during any particular round, you will reveal 3 of them, and you will pick 1. And the one that you pick has an impact on what happens during that round. So this is your wake-up time. In the solo game, the wake-up time triggers specific board actions. Let's just go ahead and put these in order. So the other thing you need is a solo journal card, which is where you keep your planning cards. So based on the wake-up time, you do a different action. So if we wake up in the early morning, we replenish all of the paintings that are on the board. So it is usually better to wait to use your wake-up card until you actually need some replenishment, because later you might need it and not have it. A mid-morning wake-up forces you to get rid of 1 commission card, the one that is of the highest value. So among the commission cards that we had drawn, if I choose a mid-morning time, this 5 is going to go because it's the most valuable commission card. If there's a tie, you get to pick. And then if you wake up in the late morning, you need to discard 2 commission cards, the 2 highest ones. So sometimes it might get you more paintings, which might make it beneficial to do, or maybe there are commissions that you're not going to make that you want to get rid of. It's actually not necessarily a bad thing to do that, so don't be afraid to use the actions that the game gives you to work with. These planning cards also tell you how you're going to get to move during a given round. So if I choose this card, I can move 2 basically paintings in any direction, and I can pick up 1 of them. If I choose this card, I can move 3 in any of the just up, down, left, right directions, and then pick up 3 paintings, which is pretty cool. So I can set myself up for a big move that way. Or I can actually pick the later start time and then move 3 in any direction except up and down, and then pick up 2 paintings. So when you have these movements, you don't need to move the full distance. However, what you should know is that you don't get to change directions while moving. So once you've picked a direction, that's the one that you're stuck with. To give yourself a little bit of extra scoring fun, you also draw what's basically your special symbol that if you have enough commissions with that symbol in it, you get lots of extra points at the end of the game. So we're going to be going for commissions that contain lakes. So basically for every commission that I get that has a lake symbol on it, I get +1 when I tally up my victory points at the end. I'm not ready to blow through my early morning replenishments yet, so I'm going to choose to wake up at 10 o'clock, move 3 in one of these directions, and pick up 2 paintings. So what you do is you go ahead and put that right there on your solo planning card. These stay in your hand for the next round, and we are going to move and see what happens. Picking that planning card, however, it's a mid-morning card, so I do have to get rid of my highest value commission. So this one is going to go in the discard pile. And these are the only 2 commissions that I can get for this round. So my little painter right here in the center can move 3 either this direction, that direction, or horizontally. So what I need to do is I need to set myself up to get a commission. And the way that I would think I'd like to do that is I can go for one of these 2 cards that's up here. So basically, I can either go for something that has a mountain, a sun, and something else, and a single of any kind, or a lake, a waterfall, and something else with a single of any kind. So those are both actually possibilities for me right now. I could try to come up here and then move this way next turn, or I can try to come down here and then move up or to the side. So as long as I don't lose these commission cards up here, I can definitely get one of them. So it's just a matter of choosing which one I think I would like. I am going to go ahead and go for this one because the commission card on the draw deck also is a high value card with the same symbol requirements. So if something happens, I'm hedging my bets by still having a card that is good for 2 different commissions in case I lose one. So I'm going to come through here. 1, 2, because remember I had up to 3 movements, but I'm just going to come to the edge of the board. And now that I've moved through the ranger station. If I had taken cards from here, this would immediately replenish the landscapes that were touching it. That didn't happen because I didn't take any paintings yet. But now I can take up to 2, and you can take the one that you started on. So I'm going to pick up this painting, and I'm going to pick up this painting, and I'm going to pull them both into my hand. So that is my movement and painting phase. I have now got 2 lovely landscapes that I am ready to share with the world if I can sell them. Now that I've done my movements, I now have the option of trying to sell. However, I can't sell yet. So I do have a painting that meets the criteria for this, but I don't have a painting with just a single symbol on it to pair with it for this commission. So we're going to have to wait until next turn and see if I set myself up correctly to get this. Now it's time to set up for the next round. So these commission cards will move over. This one will come off of the top of the draw pile and will reveal the current one on top. Ooh, so I gotta get a bunch of stuff with mountains and then literally anything else if I'm gonna get this one later. Good thing to think about as we go forward. I also now have 2 commissions that could use that large painting that I got last turn, so we'll have to strategize to see if I can get the higher scoring one or not. It's also time to pick a new planning card. So we're gonna take another one at the top of the deck. Okay, so now I have 2 early morning wake up times and a later one. So I'm gonna get to make a choice. How do I wanna move? And then how many paintings do I want to pick up? If I pick up this 1145, I have to get rid of 2 of the commissions that are available to me, which actually isn't a big deal because I could score anyway, but I need to see if this movement pattern is gonna work for me okay. These are both early morning. They will replenish some of the paintings that I have gone through, but maybe I wanna go through a few more before I replenish all of them so that I get the most out of that action. Let's take a look. So here's what I've got going on right now. My painter is here. In order to get a commission, I need to get this card or this card, and hopefully some more. We'll keep moving and see what I can do. What this does mean though is that this 1145 planning card is not great for me because it only allows me to move 2 diagonally in any direction. And look, I'm already in a corner. If I move this way, it doesn't do anything for me in terms of getting commission. So that card is out. That means that I need to think about the movement cards that I do have. So what I may actually do is I might take this 6 o'clock planning card to get to focus and just go ahead and move 3 and pick up 3 paintings. I'm still early in the game. I don't know what commissions are going to come off the deck, and I feel like having a lot of cards and then replenishing them would be a good idea. So that's what I'm going to try to do. So let's go ahead and put that 6 a.m. card on our solo journal card. And that's going to trigger an action where we replenish all of the paintings that we took last turn. So because I used that early morning action, I'm automatically going to replenish these cards. Yay! Lovely. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to move. So I can choose to move 3 up or 3 horizontally. Either one is going to allow me to pick up a commission at the end of the round. But let's see what I think the smarter thing to do would be. So this is definitely the way that I'm going to go. And the reason for that is these are the 2 commission cards that I have the option of trying for at the end of the round. I got a card that fulfills this requirement last turn. But this one, I can do something with 1 symbol on it and get 4, or I can do something with 2 symbols on it, a mountain and something else, and get a 5. There is my mountain and something else. So why not just move this way and pick up the card that's going to give me a higher score? So let's do 1, 2, 3, and then I'm just going to go ahead and take these cards. So here I am hanging out, and I have done a lot of painting for the day. Now I have the option of taking a commission. So I have all these cards, and I'm going to trade 2 of them in for the commission that I want. So I'm going to trade this painting in, and I'm going to trade this painting in to pick up this 5-point commission. So now I have 5 points, and actually it's +1 because I get a special bonus for every lake card. So that is 6 points that'll be mine at the end of the game. And that's just a quick intro to how to play Sunset Over Water. It's a beautiful little solo game. It's very engaging. It plays very quickly. And for me, it's a really nice sort of work night or relaxed afternoon solo game to play. Just a couple more things to make sure that you are good to go on your own. If you can end your final turn back in the center square, you get an extra 2 points. And also, if you have paintings that you weren't able to sell on commission and they're just left over in your hand at the end of the game, you get 1 point for every 2 symbols you can count up. So if you are in doubt about which card to pick up because you don't have a commission yet, if you pick up the one that has more symbols, that may benefit you more later. So that's usually strategically the better choice. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this very brief intro to how to play Sunset Over Water, and I hope it helped you make a decision about whether you want to try it yourself. Happy gaming.